Hi, I'm Paul Vunak, and welcome to Killer Instinct. What exactly is killer instinct? It is an emotion that comes out in you in a fight. It comes out at a particular range. This range is when you can hit uninterrupted. It's not the amount of facial contortions you make or how loud you yell or how loud you scream. That has nothing to do with winning a fight. Winning a fight is knowing when to turn it on and knowing when to turn it down. And there's different ranges that we do this. You have to be relaxed in long range. You've got to be moving around. It does you no good to have killer instinct in that range. Tightening up all the antagonistic muscles, you're slower. But once you get in to a point, we call this trapping range, where you can hit him and he can hit you, you have to turn it on. That has to click. And the more you can get that thing to click, the better you're going to do in a fight. And conversely, if you pull back out of trapping range, you got to turn it back down again and relax. Kind of like a cheetah waiting in the bushes for his gazelle, waiting and having patience. No matter how hungry he is, he's going to have patience. But when he gets it, well, there's no stopping him. So we're going to try to show you killer instinct from as many possible vantage points as we can. Boxing, kickboxing, Thai boxing. We're going to find common denominators to show you. And the common denominators, again, are the ability to turn it on and turn it off, clicking it on and off. The emotional content. This is the most important part. All right, stay with me. Now, in discussing killer instinct, the most important thing to you is controlling it, being able to control it like a volume switch. And the key point there is the range that you're in. When you're in a position in which you can hit this person uninterrupted, meaning many times, that's when you turn on the killer instinct. Again, when you're out long range and you're moving around, you don't need the killer instinct. Dion, if we're out here, we're just kind of moving around. This is where I need to stay loose and light. But when I get in here, boom, this is when I have to turn it on. If for some reason we were to break back out again, I've got to turn it back off. So the key point in remembering about killer instinct is the range. If you're separated, you relax. If you're into trapping, you turn it up. If you go to the ground, then you go back to relaxing again. So again, we've got to fluctuate our emotional content. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you killer instinct just the way we would normally spar. I'm going to be out in long range. I'm going to move around. I'm going to break in to trapping range. We may go to the ground. On some rounds, we may not. And at the corner of your video, we're going to have a little meter. And this meter is going to fluctuate. And as it goes into the red, well, that's where the killer instinct comes on. As it goes back down into the green, that's when you cool down. On this section, we're going to give you 3 different vantage points. One will be our intensity graph. Then we're going to show you the same scene in slow motion, and then back to normal speed again. Notice in long range, what I'm trying to do is destroy or stop hit. Trying to always enter into trapping range and to turn it on. That's when we're going to end the fight. That's when I'm turning it on, going into trapping range. This is where the intensity is its highest. And if the range gets out, we would lower it again. In this scene again, you see relaxation out in long range, very much like the boxer moves. At that point, turning it on, getting a headbutt in and breaking it back out. Each one of these destructions, or that jab we could have used if the pain were there and the helmet were not, we borrow that moment in time when the opponent's in pain to enter. That's when our graph goes to the moon. Again, on this range, I'm outside, moving around like a boxer, moving into the trapping range and pushing back off again and staying loose. This is the point right here where we have to completely relax the body, turn down the adrenaline. Now turn it up. Now turn it down. Same thing here. I'm moving around in long range, looking for my time to enter, and in the meantime trying to destroy or intercept. Here's the entry. That would end the fight, but we're going to push off and keep going just for the purpose of the tape. Again, you'll see my movement looking for a destruction. That would have probably done it had you not had the gloves on. We don't want to wait passively out here. We want to be looking to do something, destroy or intercept. Borrow that pain and enter. And there we go. Back out to relaxation again. Here we're starting out in trapping range and then going back out into long range. Notice the intensity starting off at its highest and then it dissipates, almost the opposite of our last scenario. Now we're back down to just relaxing again. On this scenario, I'm going to purposely take Dion down to the ground, keeping the emotions pretty low throughout the whole scene. Now we turn it back up again when you mount. Again, here we're low, and we're going to go straight through trapping range and keep it low again onto the ground, looking for the mount, the bite, or the choke. Now we turn it back up once we're in position to punch uninterrupted. Here we're starting out in trapping range again, about as high as you can get, and automatically cutting back down to low intensity, moving around. I'm looking for my point to destroy or enter. Now we turn it back up, turn it back down. Taking Dion to the ground, right now I turn it back up again. Here it is in slow motion. Taking this round straight from the ground. This is where it's real important to stay relaxed. You've got to be able to feel an arm lock or a choke. The only time you turn it up is if you're going to bite. The only time you bite is if you can bite uninterrupted. Now we go to the mount. That's why we turn it up. Went for an arm lock and missed it there. Tom countered. Back to a base. I'm continually looking for a lock, a choke, or a bite. Back to the mount. The man doesn't know how to get out of a mount. We can stay there all day long. Some of this may look intense on the ground because we're used to watching standard Western wrestlers, but actually Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is quite relaxed. Now in this round we're going to be implementing the Kinamutai, the pinching and biting. I'm looking for the appropriate time to bite right now. And here it is. There's the ear, and there's the lat. Notice I'm grabbing him so he could not have pulled away if he wanted to. I could stay there until Christmas. Same thing with the mount. Have to keep a cool head here. Know when to throw your punches in, when to put your arm lock in. And there's the choke. Here you see the reversal. I'm trying to get to the top immediately, looking for that mount or that bite. We're going to find out that Killer Instinct is universal. And now that you've seen a JKD man's rendition of Killer Instinct, let's take a look at Mother Nature's. Now, in talking about killer instinct, we're going to use the word emotional content because killer instinct only represents one portion of a fight. Let's say the fight starts out in long range. Dion, in long range, we're moving around out here. There's absolutely no good to have killer instinct. But when I get to here, this is when I need it. And now if the range happened to get back out again, that's when you have to cool down again. So again, if you're in long range, the more you're tightening everything up. It's not doing you any good. When you get in closer where you can hit him uninterrupted, that's when you got to turn it on. Now that we've discussed killer instinct and we've shown you every possible vantage point we could think of, keeping in mind that the point is to get the highs higher and the lows lower, to turn up the emotional volume as much as you can or to turn it down as much as you can. Now let's show you how to train it. Now for our first drill, keeping in mind that emotional content, killer instinct, is a question of the highs and the lows, being able to turn it on and being able to turn it off. Well, when you train that, you have to train them separately. So we're going to first put Dion in the middle. Brian and Tom are going to bang on Dion, and he's going to be literally just taking the punches. This is not the way he would fight 2-on-1. That's the antithesis of what you would normally do. Instead of footwork, Dion's just going to stay in the middle. But it's a strange feeling to have four gloves punching you at the same time and trying to keep a cool head. And this is what we're trying to do. Again, simulate reality. Okay, guys, come on out. Okay, ready? And go. Break. Good. Now, if you notice, this is not a fun drill, by the way. If you notice, Dion in the middle is just taking the punches. But every time he's taking the punches, he's not just arbitrarily taking them. He's trying to consciously slow his emotions down. This drill you guys need to do at home. Put in at least 20 hours at this. Now for our second drill, keeping in mind we're just trying to add the intensity for the man in the middle, being Dion, we're going to add the kicks. So now in addition to the four hands going in, it 4 kicks going at the same time. Okay, guys, come on out. Okay, go. That's it. Cool mind, stay relaxed, shut it off, turn that brain off, that's it. Stay in there. Stay in the kitchen a little bit, and break. Good. Now, we're not going to go through as long as we would normally do it, obviously. But again, when you get home, I want you guys to work this over and over again. Try it. Now for our next drill on controlling the emotions, and this is the low side of the emotions, we're going to do the same thing on the mat, though, instead of standing up. It'll be basically the same thing, 2-on-1, applying as much emotional pressure as you can on the man in the middle. And again, the man in the middle has to just sit and relax and just feel it and counter when he can. This is what's going to prevent you from freezing under pressure. Keeping a cool head is the most important part of killer instinct. All right, guys, come on out. Okay, Tom, you're in the middle. Brian D., you know what to do. Okay, go. Cool head, Tom. Cool head. You see a foot lock here? Yes. Having 2 people attack you adds twice as much energy, twice as much emotional content, and takes twice as much concentration to relax. Keep rolling. Roll out of it. Get out of that choke. Pull out of that choke. Let's go. Roll out of it. Breathe, 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 breathe. Relax. Okay, good, good. Okay, this is what we're doing again. Trying to apply as much pressure on that man in the middle. We can do it standing up. We can do it on the ground. It doesn't matter. The point is that we're adding the emotional content. Now, we just got through looking at drills that teach us to keep a cool head under pressure. This is very important. This is the low end of our killer instinct. Again, out in long range when you don't need it, or on the ground wrestling when you have to be nice and calm and relaxed and feeling things. But when you get into trapping range, well, that's when you turn it on. So we're working that end now. We're working the highs. So what they're going to do is they're going to do a straight blast, a Jet Chen Choi, but they're simply turning their brain on as high as they can. They're cranking up the emotional volume. It looks silly, you do it 1 or 2 times, but if you do this 10, 15, 20 times a day for a few months, pretty soon you'll be able to turn it on and then turn it off at the drop of a hat. And that's the beginning of being able to do it in a fight. Guys, I want you to start off, control the brain, keep all the dialogue down, run as fast as you can. Okay, ready? Go! Let's go! Get it! Get it! Get it! And break! Now, you look at this drill, it looks pretty silly, but again, you do this over and over again, and you will be surprised how quickly you can turn it on. Now, we just got through looking at some drills to turn up our emotional content. This is very important. Again, you have to believe it. If you don't believe that you can turn up the emotional content like a volume switch on a stereo, it's not going to work. And once you start believing it, and once you get into this straight blast and the screaming and the whole thing, you'll know, you'll feel it. You'll know immediately you can click it on, just like you have a 45 right here. You'll know at any point in time, if you want, that animal can come out. But that animal has to be leashed also. So we have to be able to take it down as well as going up, and just as fast. For example, if you're in trapping range, and it's up as high as it can go, and then if for some reason the range separates, you don't want to still continue that emotional content. You want to relax again. So that fluctuating is the most important thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that straight blast, but then they're going to drop to the ground and go right into a meditation. Just a simple breathing drill to teach their brain to go from this to this. And eventually we'll be able to do it in the street. This is our segue. Okay, guys, ready? And go! Good. Breathe, inhale through your nose, bypass the chest. When you feel completely relaxed, stand up. Good. Now, again, that might look a little silly, but you will be amazed at what you'll learn by doing that. Being able to turn the emotional content as high as it can go till it reaches its zenith and then drop right off the edge. There are many ways you can work this. It's up to your own imagination. We'll keep this PG and just do it this way for right now. Now that last drill taught us that we can indeed turn our emotional content up and down at will. Now we have to progress to the next stage, getting us closer to that street fight. So Dion's going to be in the middle, and we're going to just yell. We're going to scream. The guy in the middle is going to scream. The guy in the ends are going to scream. Again, you have to do this. You can actually get your blood pressure, everything, all the way up to a zenith by just screaming. And then they're going to separate and just like they meditated, only instead of meditating, they're going to spar. So we're slowly putting it into a functional format. Okay, guys, ready? Okay, Dion in the middle, ready? And go. Now Dion's completely relaxed again. Went from a hot to a cold. Okay, break. Now as you see, what we're going to do is we're going to take it to its highest, and then we're going to drop it back down, and we're going to show you as many drills as possible until this becomes second nature to you. Now, we just took our emotional content to its highest, again, from the screaming, and then we separated and went to the kickboxing. So it went up, but because they were kickboxing, it had to go back down and relax. Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to scream to get that emotional content up again, and then they're going to drop to the ground. When they hit the ground, doing the jiu-jitsu is the same as the long range. You need the same psychology, the same mentality. You need to relax. Again, the only time you're really turning on that killer instinct is in that one crucial range in trapping where you can hit uninterrupted. Or sometimes when you're on the ground, but it's very rare. So we're going to take a look at this now. Okay, guys. Okay, give me a 3 count. 2, 1, go! Drop. Keep rolling. Keep relaxing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Pass that guard. Pass that guard. Keep breathing. Pass that guard. Pass that guard. Pass that guard. And break. Now we took it up and we took it back down again. So let's reiterate where we need the emotional content. Long range, it's down. Trapping range, we crank it up. When we hit the ground, we crank it back down again. Okay, stay with me. Now in this next drill, we're going to turn it up just one more time. So we started from the yelling. That got the emotional content up as high as it could go. Then they dropped down to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and then they lowered it where it should be, just nice and relaxed down there. And then we're going to turn it up one more notch. I'm going to say, okay, back up again. Not standing up, but going into the Kinamutai, which is yet another art of pinching and biting. And we don't know where they're going to bite or who's going to pinch who. Hopefully the camera will pick it up. Okay, guys. I want to see it. Give me full contact, emotional content. Okay, ready? Go! Drop! Now relax, relax, relax. Take it down, take it down. Relax the body. Move around, relax the body. Should be at a 2, should be at a 2. Okay, turn it back up, turn it back up, turn it back up. There's the bite. Break. Break. Excellent. Okay, as you see, we can turn it up, we can turn it down at will. This is what we're aiming to do. Let's try it. Well, I hope you enjoyed Killer Instinct. We're breaking new grounds here, trying to teach a variety of emotions through a videotape. You know, I've had people ask me about JKD's spiritual side or even critique it, saying we're just into that street fighting stuff. I disagree. There is a spiritual side to JKD. Just because we don't meditate under waterfalls or break bricks or do tongue push-ups doesn't make us any less spiritual than anyone else. When you can get in touch with that side of you, that killer instinct, that side, that sadistic side of the human nature, then you can be in touch with the other side, the peaceful side. There's no front without a back. Thank you.